The Golden State Warriors took on the San Antonio Spurs at Frost Bank Center in what was expected to be a competitive showdown. Both teams were coming off a back-to-back, meaning fatigue could play a role, but that didn't stop the Stars from putting on a show. This game had everything: fast breaks, deep threes, highlight reel dunks, and a few moments that left even the commentators speechless. But before we get into the action, let's talk about something serious. 99% of you are watching this video but still haven't subscribed. That's like leaving Stephen Curry wide open and expecting him to miss. Come on, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it helps us bring you more of the best NBA action every day. The game tipped off with the Warriors looking to establish control early. Draymond Green, the heartbeat of Golden State's offense, immediately made his presence felt by orchestrating plays, setting screens, and keeping the ball moving. He found Moses Moody in the corner, and Moody calmly drained a jumper to put Golden State on the board. But the Spurs weren't backing down. Butler, looking to make an impact, broke free for an emphatic two-handed dunk that fired up the home crowd. Moments later, Keldon Johnson took advantage of a defensive lapse and powered his way to the rim for another strong finish. Golden State, however, responded with their trademark ball movement. Chris Paul, the veteran floor general, connected on a deep three, showing that he still has plenty left in the tank. Draymond and Curry then ran a perfectly executed give-and-go, leading to a wide-open layup for Green. The Spurs stayed aggressive, with Jeremy Sochan spinning into the lane and finishing through contact, but turnovers started to hurt them. The Warriors, always quick to capitalize, turned a bad Spurs pass into a fast break dunk by Jonathan Kuminga, forcing a timeout from San Antonio. At the end of the first quarter, the Warriors held a slight lead, thanks to their efficiency on offense and ability to take advantage of Spurs' mistakes. The Spurs knew they had to step up in the second quarter to keep pace with Golden State's relentless offense. Champagnie started things off by drilling a corner three, cutting into the Warriors' lead. Blake Wesley added a burst of energy, attacking the rim and drawing a foul to get to the free throw line. On the other end, the Warriors continued to show why they're one of the best passing teams in the league. Draymond found Kevon Looney for an easy bucket inside, and then Steph Curry decided it was time to put on a show. After being relatively quiet early, Curry started finding his rhythm. He stepped back and buried a deep three, barely breaking a sweat. The next possession, he pulled up from nearly the logo, and just like that, the Warriors were back in control. San Antonio continued to battle, with Keldon Johnson forcing his way into the paint and finishing tough layups. But for every Spurs basket, the Warriors seemed to have an answer. Chris Paul found Moody on a backdoor cut, and Moody elevated for a smooth finish at the rim. Despite their efforts, the Spurs couldn't slow down Golden State's offensive machine. Heading into halftime, the Warriors held a comfortable lead, with Curry heating up and their ball movement picking apart the Spurs' defense. If the Spurs had any hopes of a comeback, they needed to start strong in the third quarter. Instead, the Warriors turned up the intensity and widened the gap. Golden State's passing was on full display, as they continued to move the ball effortlessly, finding the open man every time. Brandon Podziemski, who had been relatively quiet in the first half, caught fire, draining back-to-back threes and extending the Warriors' lead. San Antonio tried to respond, but turnovers became their biggest issue. Every mistake seemed to lead to a fast break bucket for the Warriors. One sequence perfectly summed up the Spurs' struggles. After a bad pass, Draymond scooped up the ball, led the fast break, and found Curry, who lobbed it up for Kuminga to throw down a thunderous alley-oop dunk. The Spurs had a bright moment when Devin Vassell nailed a three, and Butler added another bucket inside, but it wasn't enough. The Warriors were simply too sharp, too efficient, and too disciplined in their offensive execution. With Steph Curry running the show, Golden State continued to pile on the points, and by the end of the third quarter, they held a commanding lead. The final quarter was all about closing the game out for the Warriors. Buddy Hield came in and wasted no time, knocking down a deep three to keep the offense rolling. Spencer got in on the action as well, draining a long-range jumper that sent the Warriors bench into celebration mode. The Spurs kept pushing, refusing to go down without a fight. Butler remained aggressive, attacking the rim and absorbing contact to finish inside. But every time San Antonio gained some momentum, the Warriors responded with another three-pointer or a perfectly executed offensive set. In the final minutes, the Spurs had no choice but to play their young guys and let them gain some experience. Meanwhile, Golden State continued to showcase their depth, with Jackson Davis getting in on the scoring action. As the final buzzer sounded, it was clear that the Warriors were simply the better team on this night. Their ball movement, shooting, and defensive pressure proved too much for the young Spurs squad. Golden State walks away with a dominant win, reminding everyone why they are still a dangerous team in the Western Conference. The Spurs showed flashes of promise, but turnovers and defensive breakdowns ultimately cost them the game. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't be like a defender sagging off Curry, hit that subscribe button for more NBA action. It's free, and it helps us bring you the best basketball coverage. Thanks for watching Basketball Insider USA, and we'll see you in the next one.